So what happens when you've got gods walking the earth, but they can't even see the people right at their feet? Well, in the city of Dakota, you've got two incredibly powerful heroes who are just stuck. They're locked in this ideological stalemate, and the streets are caught right in the middle. Today, we're going to dive into the story of the one person who could finally build the bridge between them, a young woman named Rocket.
All right, so to really get what's going on in Dakota, you first have to understand the two titans of power pulling it in completely opposite directions.
On one side, you have Icon. Now, he's an alien who's been living as this wealthy, conservative recluse. His view is literally from the sky and super detached, shaped by centuries of just watching. He trusts in law books and is terrified of creating dependency. And then on the other side, you've got Hardware. He's this tech genius completely fueled by a personal vendetta against his corporate bosses. He sees the world as a machine and its problems are just gears that need to be smashed. And here's the critical disconnect, the real problem. Both of them are completely, 100% out of touch with what's actually happening on the streets.
And that is the core question, isn't it? When all the power is way up in the sky or locked away in some machine, who's left to speak for the street? Who's looking out for the regular people just trying to make it through the day?
And that is where Raquel Irvin, aka Rocket, comes into the picture. And let me be clear, she is not just a sidekick. She's the answer.
See, her perspective isn't from the sky or from inside some machine, it's from the street. She brings this desperately needed dose of grassroots realism to the whole situation. I mean, she's a teenage mother and an aspiring writer from a neighborhood everyone else has forgotten. Her lived experience is the anchor for this entire heroic dynamic.
She's not just an observer watching from the sidelines. No way. She is the people that Icon and Hardware claim they want to protect. Her reality forces them to get out of their heads and confront the messy, human consequences of their abstract philosophies and their personal vendettas.
This really shows her unique ideological role. She creates a middle path. She looks at Icon's fear of creating dependency and calls it exactly what it is: neglect. But she also completely rejects Hardware's cynical, burn-it-all-down rage. Her approach isn't about doing nothing or just causing destruction, it's about demanding real, systemic change through active mentorship.
So let's take a look at how this actually plays out, starting with the impact she has on the alien powerhouse himself, Icon. This is what we call the Rocket effect. Before Raquel, Augustus Freeman was just a passive observer, a rich recluse who had pretty much ignored human problems for over a century. She comes along and flips a switch, turning him into a proactive champion. She is, without a doubt, the catalyst of his conscience. She forces him to see the massive flaws in his own logic. You know, a philosophy of self-reliance is really easy to preach from a mansion, but it totally ignores the systemic barriers that trap people in poverty. Let's be real. Without her, Icon would have just stayed a recluse, and all his incredible powers would have gone to waste. She's the one who forces him to turn those abstract ideals into actual, empathetic action. But her influence doesn't stop with Icon. Not even close. She plays an equally vital role in shaping the other hero in this equation, the brilliant but rage-filled Hardware. What she does is redirect his immense energy. Hardware's initial motivation is a super personal vendetta. Rocket comes in and shifts that focus from personal revenge to a love for his community. She channels his brilliance away from just wanting to burn the system down and points it towards systemic uplift and healing.
And this gets right to the heart of their different political philosophies. Icon trusts the law to maintain order. Hardware believes in the tech to force a correction. But Rocket, her faith is in the people. She knows that lasting change comes from inspiring a movement, and she gets that Icon's true value isn't his strength, but his power as a symbol to spark that very change.
So, when you put all of these pieces together, a really clear picture starts to emerge. Rocket isn't just a partner, she is the architect of the team's entire impact. Her core functions are just crystal clear. She is the conscience, constantly reminding the powerful about the poor. She's the anchor, humanizing these detached, larger-than-life figures. She is the catalyst, turning observers into champions. And of course, she is the bridge, connecting the world of the sky to the world of the street. That role as the human heart is absolutely crucial. I mean, both Icon and Hardware tend to see problems as these clinical puzzles that just need to be solved. Rocket is the one who forces them to see the faces behind the statistics. She prevents their missions from becoming these cold intellectual exercises or just, rampages of revenge. And this just shows the beautiful synthesis she creates.
Icon has the strength, and hardware has the intelligence. On their own, they're powerful, yeah, but they're unfocused. Rocket provides the direction and the soul, which leads to the outcome that actually matters, community healing. She is the moral compass that unites all their power.
Which brings us right back to this powerful statement from the source material. After seeing how she connects these different worlds and provides a moral center, it's just impossible to disagree. She is the strongest bridge.
So why does all this matter? Because Rocket proves that in a world of gods and machines, the most powerful force is still profoundly human. It isn't alien biology or advanced tech, but the courage to be a conscience and to speak truth to power. She is the architect. And that leaves us with a question, doesn't it? In a world of polarized ideas, who are our strongest bridges?